Do you realize that every time you text me, you call me shut up? And I can't tell if you're calling me shut up or you're just saying shut up.
I mean, you just right now, this is not an episode about you and me and how we talk, but you
Oh,
will
yes.
find any way to pile onto it and get the kids on your side. This is why we don't talk. Because I do talk to text. I have carpal tunnel in two hands. I'm trying to use talk to text and still communicate with you guys. And now that's also a problem. Hello, namaste. Welcome to the Zarna Garg family podcast. So excited to have everybody in the house. It is going to be a hot, sizzling hot episode of our family podcast. We are going to get right into the topic, which my kids and my husband don't know yet because that's how we do things around here. We are going to talk about how easy or hard it is to talk to your parents or to your kids. As kids, do you find it hard to talk to your parents about certain things? And as parents, do we find it hard to talk to our kids about certain things? Of course, we all know it is very easy to talk to me, so there's not much to be said about that. Let's welcome all five Gargs in the house today. My husband of 25 years, Wall Street veteran, Shalab Garg. My daughter, who's about to finish college, Zoya Garg. My son, my middle son, who just started college, Bridge Garg, and my middle schooler, Veer Garg. We're all in the house, and we're going to talk about how hard or how easy it is to talk across generations in our family.
It
And does
is
anybody
really,
have an
really
opinion about that?
hard to talk to my spouse. I have to say, it is really
What?
hard. Oh,
This
sorry, my kids. Sorry, my kids, not my spouse. Did I say spouse? My kids. It is
what
really hard to talk to my spouse. No, sorry, my kids. My kids.
did he?
What is going on?
Nothing, nothing.
Why is it
Do you
hard to
have
talk to
something
us?
you need to say to me,
No,
Shalab?
no, 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 nothing,
Because
nothing.
it feels like there's something you need to say to me, and if you need to
This
say
is
to
why
me,
it's hard for him to talk to you.
why?
This
What do
is
you
why
mean?
it's so hard to talk to you because you
I'm
like
saying, please
so
say. Please
aggressive.
You're
say.
like cornering him into it like a little corner and
Which
asking him
corner?
to.
I said just say whatever you want to say. What corner?
Okay,
I'm
it
standing
is
on
really hard to talk to you. I
what?
can't even reach you on the phone these days. When I call you, it takes 10 attempts to make one call.
That
And you
is
send
that's a
really
lie.
angry texts to me about interactive broker and random stuff. Texting is even harder because the responses come in all these weird words because you don't type, you instead speak into the text. And like shut up becomes shut up. Do you realize that every time you text me, you call me shut up? And I can't tell if you're calling me shut up or you're just saying shut up.
I mean, you just right now, this is not an episode about you and me and how we talk, but you
Oh,
will
yes.
find any way to pile onto it and get the kids on your side. This is why we don't talk. Because I do talk to text. I have carpal tunnel in two hands. I'm trying to use talk to text and still communicate with you guys. And now that's also a problem.
Mom, have you ever considered getting like a watch that you could speak to?
I This is what I need is one more thing to charge and carry. And do you know how heavy my bags are right now? I'm traveling to 4 states this week and checking my bags
Wait,
in four
wait,
times
she's
and
right.
unchecking them.
Her bags
I
are
literally,
already so
I
heavy.
literally asked if you ever interested.
No, you guys are laughing, three of you. I just okay. Wow, Zoya, I'm glad you're finding the comedy in this, Zoya. I really am. I mean, what is so funny about I need another thing to charge, another wire to take care of, another thing that's gonna go boop 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 on my life.
He asked you.
Like,
He asked you a binary question. Have you considered getting a watch or not?
but like,
What was funny about it? I missed it. What
yeah,
was the joke?
I missed it too. This is why we will never talk to
Yeah,
each other
yeah.
intergenerationally.
You missed it because you're so traumatized and you're so used to it that you didn't realize that the nature of the question actually was yes or no. It was not.
It was not like a short answer.
Oh, he's traumatized. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh,
At least my daughter understands me. I feel like
oh,
all
oh.
three all three generations of Garg women in my life have been tough. My mother, then my wife, and now my daughter have
Right.
suffered through every generation.
You're just a victim, Shalab. You're just an overall victim of it. And the three of you go on support him right now. Like, let's just railroad. This
Okay.
whole topic is somehow let's attack mom from
Okay.
all sides.
Let's divert this conversation because I do think Mom brought up an interesting point because there's two forms of communication in a family now. There's in-person communication and there's digital communication. And right now, because Mom is traveling a lot for work, Bridge and I are in college, Veer's at home, Dad's at home, we're all finding, I would say we communicate more digitally than
Yes.
we do in person, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a really good way to start this topic is how do we do that?
We do, and we're excellent at it. I mean, what is there? I at least respond to every family chat. We have family group chat, and I, unlike you guys who have a family group chats without me in it, I don't do that stuff.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Didi kind of runs the family group chat now.
Yeah.
I feel like-
No,
I feel like
what
she,
do you mean?
I feel like she kind of dictates it.
No,
Like,
that's
I feel like
not
she's the one
true.
always texting it, always sending photos.
What are you talking about?
I think
I
it's because
text-
she was traveling, Bita, just
No,
recently.
I'm always
But
locked in
still,
on the family chat.
she's sending photos of her running. She's sending photos of outfits. She's always running the group chat.
It's you know what? The
Or
truth
is she holding it hostage?
Yeah, I was gonna say the truth is that I have no one else to text. So I'm like, oh, I feel like texting somebody, so I text the family ones.
Okay, apparently no one is seeing all the texts I send all day long.
No, because
Veer,
Mom, this is a
are you
problem.
okay? Bridge, are you okay? All that I text all the time.
So,
Like,
so,
did
so
you eat
when
some-
I get a text that says as follows, shut up, comma, have you transferred money to Interactive Broker? What should I be saying and how should I be saying it?
But it's a practical text. Like, do we need to transfer money
Yes.
into the brokerage
Okay, this
account?
is-
What is? I don't know why. What is so wrong with that text? Like, what do you want me to text?
This is the problem with digital communication, Mom. All of your texts are so practical that it's like it's hard to get you on the phone or get you on text and like have a conversation about like just nothing. You know what I mean? When was the last time you had a conversation about like something that was just, not that important?
All day. I talk about nonsense all day long. Like, what do you want to talk about? Let's do it right now. Let's do it in front of people right now. Like, did you file your graduation papers?
See, that's practical. That is a practical documentation question. I'm talking about like here's what I did today. When I say that to you, you like freak out.
I ask you all the time, what did you do? What did you eat? Where did you go? And I try, like, do crazy things that cause me to freak out.
So I think what's interesting is I've noticed that with each of the family members, I have to have a different style of digital communication for every single one. So like
Tell
so-
each one.
So for Veer is very easy. If I know he's out of school, I can just call him. And either he will tell me I'm playing basketball with my friends, let's talk later, or he'll pick up the phone. Bridge is the hardest. Bridge, I have no idea what's
Yeah.
going on with Bridge at any
Oh,
time.
Yeah,
This is like a
always.
family
No,
hang-up.
he never responds to my
Never
text. He
responds.
never
Never.
responds to my
This
text.
is not
True.
true. This is all propaganda.
Never responds to text. and
Bridge
then
is really
only-
hard to get hold of, and Zoya is impossible to get hold of because every first call goes to voicemail.
Yes.
The
Because
first
she's
call
on
is
D&D.
You need to get
You're
on
always on
D&D.
D&D.
It's so annoying. And you are not that busy. There is no way you're that busy that you're like someone who's on D&D constantly.
I mean, by
It's
your
not
own
possible.
admission, Zoya, you don't have friends, you don't have a boyfriend, you don't have a life. So why are you so busy?
I'm busy with my life. Like I'm trying to fill the void in my life that is like loneliness. So I'm just out here accomplishing 100 different things. that don't
Maybe
even
you
need to
would be
accomplished.
less lonely if you picked up the call when people wanted to reach out to you.
But it's D&D is just if you call and then you call again, it's like it basically just blocks the first call.
But
Why?
Mom and
But
dad
like,
wouldn't know that.
what is that supposed to mean? Like,
Because then it makes people reconsider the nature
Like
of
how
that call.
important is the
Oh
call?
my God, like this is so ridiculous. So people
What?
need to reconsider after they've called you if they really want to call you and take a second attempt and then you will pick it up. I mean, how ridiculous is that?
is
Listen,
that an actual thing? That there's
Yeah.
first time and a second time thing?
That's why it always hangs up whenever you call Didi the first time. And you start screaming. And then
And then you have to call again because you have to consider in your mind if that call was an important call.
No,
to
not
be-
only that. And do you know what the other side of it is? If I don't answer instantly,
no,
oh,
that's
you don't
not-
have time. Oh, instantly, if I don't answer, Mom, I'm anxious. Mom, this happened. Mom, that happened. Then it's like, you don't have time. Literally, the one person who's working across craziness right now, if I don't answer instantly, I should put all of you guys on D&D.
That's not true, Mom. That is in your head. Like I sometimes okay. This is okay. Now we've completed Bridge. So basically, Bridge is very challenging to get a hold of. What I do with Bridge is like I basically either have to text him emergency. This is extremely important, all caps, and then he'll pick up. And then usually it's not that important. So then at least he's on the phone. Or I have to text Veer to be like, can you see if Baya is free right now? Okay. Now, dad is pretty good. I usually will WhatsApp him, or like we'll be WhatsApping in the family chat about something interesting, and then I'll be like, let's continue this conversation over the phone. So dad is on his call game, or sometimes I'll call him during work and he's like, I'm busy right now. Mom, okay, I wonder if other moms feel this way. I used to just call mom. Like I would just call her whenever I had a free minute, and that caused her an extreme amount of frustration. Do you want to
Yes.
explain why?
Yeah, because I assume it's an emergency when I get a voice call. I've told Zoya many times to please text me before she calls. One, I cannot answer every voice call. Two, when I get most for a person who literally keeps her phone permanently on D&D, you don't understand why it's odd to just make a call to other people. Do you
What?
see the hypocrisy in it?
Okay, first of all, this feels like a tax. We're having an
Yeah,
intellectual
so I have a
discussion.
question. This is my issue with speaking to mom, is that every time I try to speak to her, it's never just like a communication, just a conversation and where she's calm and collected. It's always her screaming at you with aggression, like screaming at you about what you're doing wrong and what you need to improve
Yeah,
about
I
every
get
single
that.
thing.
I
What
get
are
that
you
feeling.
talking about?
See, even
I
right now, you're
understand
saying, what are
that
you talking
feeling.
about? Like, why don't you say, oh, I understand where you're coming from, but here's my perspective. You know, you could change the language and change the tone.
I think English is not her first language. That's part of it. She grew up in a Gujarati household. So, part of it might just be communication issues.
Dad,
What?
by that metric, your English is worse than mom.
I mean, it's not a competition. I
One
think
person in this family has a national #1 award in writing in English. One person in this group. And I won't name that person, but like people can feel free to guess in comments who that person is.
I think she's referring to herself.
Okay,
Bridge,
that was
I have to do a practical catch up with you because you are never around for like important stuff. Whenever I do get you on the phone, I have to be like,
Okay.
what about your food? What
You know
about
what?
your
I
dining
wasn't
hall?
even-
What
I
about
wasn't
your
even
RA
gonna-
application?
I wasn't even going to defend myself, but I will. In the last couple of months, I have literally responded to every text, picked up every
Oh,
phone
okay.
call.
Say that. Say that.
Oh.
Say that.
I have literally
Say
done all of
that.
this. Bro, Didi,
What
did
is
I not
going
pick up your
on?
call yesterday, Didi? I texted the family chat multiple times. Hey, does anyone want to call right now? Usually, you guys, no one ever actually calls. I sent my breakfasts to the WhatsApp chat. You guys not remember that? I sent my breakfasts like
We
every day,
comment
no
on your
meals.
breakfast all the time.
Look at this.
We-
Look at
Yeah,
these.
I'm
You
seeing
didn't respond to
that
any
now.
of these.
I'm seeing
Bro,
that.
do you know
I'm
what were you
seeing it.
texting? Can you read a text out loud of what you were sending?
That does not matter.
Yes,
But
it does. 'Cause that's the reason I didn't respond. Because that, bro, the content of that text was insane. Bro,
What was the content of the text, and why do you guys have group chats without me?
it's not
Why
a group
did
chat.
I
That
need
was my.
individual
That's my
chat?
DMs with him.
That was one of
What were you DMing him that he didn't want to respond to? I want to see it. Show it again.
It's not important. I promise.
Of course. Of course, it's something bad. I'm sure of it. Aside from the digital nature of it, do you guys feel like when you have something important to say, you can say it to us?
Yes.
Pretty
It
much.
depends on what it's about.
Okay, hold on. So it's a yes for Zoya. It's
No,
a
no,
depends.
also
no.
said
They're
yes.
lying. They're
Bro,
lying.
And Didi said yes, and Veer said no. Veer, why don't you explain? Like, I feel like recently you've been more distant. What's
Yeah.
going on?
Okay, they're trying to set me up.
Why?
They're trying to set me up. They're putting me on the chopping block right now. Anything I say, like my head's about to get chopped off.
Because he found a new relationship. That's why.
What relationship? He's 13 years old.
Bang! 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 Bang!
Veer, this is your idea of a relationship that you just find somebody and you leave the whole family that you grew up your whole life with?
Bro, what?
This is your idea of like, who is this person?
I mean, Zarna, his dad did it. His dad's dad did it. He will
No.
do
Whoa,
it too.
whoa,
I'm
whoa.
not
You
gonna-
guys are speaking for me. What
And
is
just
happening?
Stop comparing me to your mother and your mother's mother and whatever, because that is absolutely not our life. Like, I spent my entire 20 years just trying to bond with the kids, and I'm still listen, honestly, the reason I work, literally the reason I work is to create a family business so these kids have something that they can do every day at 50 years old. The reason I'm out there hustling, do you guys not know that? Do you guys not know this, three of you? I'm
I
asking
have a
you.
question. Why are you like declaring this in such an aggressive manner?
Because your dad
Yeah.
keep like he literally right now is like, your dad did it, your dad's like, did your mom do what I'm doing? Did your mother, your dad's mother do what I'm doing? Like
See,
this
why
somehow
no one likes
became
to
an
talk to
attack
you.
on mom.
No
Wait,
one can
guys,
talk to you.
I have
It's
an emotional
impossible.
support blanket now because honestly, these podcast episodes have gotten so heated recently. I'm like, I need
You know
some
what? Forget
support.
it. Okay, you guys do
There
the
is
talking.
something
I'll
like
just
an
sit and
emotional
listen.
support blanket.
Oh my
They were
god.
supposed to
What
be
does
little.
that do, and how does it do it?
It basically just provides warmth when you're
Reduces
cold or
anxiety
cold.
from weighting
It
you
reduces
down.
anxiety.
You
I
all
think.
gonna be trapped under your stupid dumb blankets one day when actually something happens. Anyway, fine. I'm not gonna say anything. You guys listen. I'm taking all the feedback. I'm not upset. I'm listening. So, Veer, what's going on with you? What? Like, why are you
Okay.
leaving the family?
I. This is why I don't want to talk to you.
No, but
I bring
I'm
up
listening.
anything and you say, this is why you're leaving the family. I haven't done anything to leave the family.
I mean, I don't. Your dad brought it up, not me. Get mad at him. Why are you saying that to me?
Yeah, and then you're re spitballing his ideas. Like I have not done anything to become more distant with the family. Nothing has changed.
Well, something he made a comment about. What is he talking about then? Somebody fill me in.
Well, I have no idea what he's talking about.
Bridge.
Oh god.
Okay, so what? So Bridge, Zoya, do you guys want to say something, or we're just gonna have a podcast episode of everybody being like, like what? What is going on?
See, the thing is, Mom, no one wants to tell you. That's the issue.
Why?
Is that you're asking
Exactly.
questions. Nobody wants to tell you.
What are you
Why
talking
don't we just
about?
move on from this?
Literally, you don't think it's easy to talk to me?
No, it's.
Yeah,
It-
but why don't you explain what you're trying to say?
Alright, why don't you explain the relationship you're in? Why don't you go? Alright, fine, I'll explain what Veer's doing. So basically,
No. Okay. We don't have to go there. But I don't think it's easy to talk to you because whenever I say anything, you're gonna always think the worst of it. If I bring up anything about some new friend that I'm having, you're gonna be like, "Oh, what does his mom do? Where do you guys hang out? You guys in a dangerous area? It's too late." Like, I can't just say something and you'll be like, "Damn, that's cool."
I've actually
That's
identified two types of people. A lot of the times when I'm speaking to people, I've noticed this is that there's one type of person where you tell them something and they immediately think of all the cons. They think of every single thing that can go wrong with that statement that's already wrong with that statement and display them. Then the other type of person, which is the people that other people like to talk to, are the ones that think of the benefits and what's so beautiful about the situation that they just brought up.
Like
And
me.
you, Mom, are for sure the one who thinks of every negative possible.
No. What are you
Yes.
talking about?
You raised your hand for the second one?
Second one. I'm the second one.
We're definitely not the second one.
Oh
No,
my
I
I
am.
mean, I was going to
100%.
say I am the first one.
Yeah,
In
he's
other
the
words,
first one. He's the first one. That's right.
I mean,
You
I would
both- I think
generally
you-
try to take the conservative route and say the things that can go wrong, especially in professional circumstances where you may be trying something risky and I may guide you towards, working for a big company. So I get that point.
Do you
Is that
know?
what you
Okay,
meant?
I just think that
No,
was
that's
a
not what I
really
meant.
interesting example that Dad just brought up because what was that? That was like the most specific example. Like I felt like you just were waiting to say that.
No, because when you were doing your corporate internship before
I
you
feel-
did it, do you remember I said that I just want you to do at least one internship
You know what?
before rejecting that idea?
You know what? Actually, on this topic, because we haven't given enough slack to Dad, I honestly don't feel that confident and comfortable talking to you specifically about my entrepreneurial endeavors. I
Or
feel
lack
really-
thereof, you mean?
Because of the pressure.
Damn.
What? Lack
What do
thereof.
you mean
She's
lack
working.
thereof?
Damn.
But like,
Oh.
seriously, I feel like if I told you, like if I tell you what I want to do, this is one thing that Mom's really good at. Like because she's so passionate, like she's so passionate about everything that you say and every detail in which you say it. Like she will follow along with any version of like whatever you're exploring and just will be extreme about how she'll scaffold it. You know, like with all the like different circumstances. But sometimes, Dad, when I tell you like what I'm thinking about doing post grad, I feel like I can hear
The disapproval.
hear disapproval in your head.
Yes.
And so I don't like talking to you about it actually.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So we don't have to talk about it.
That's not correct though. It shouldn't be that way that I
I mean,
can't
it'll
talk
be
to you
hard
about
for me
stuff.
to fake approval when I'm disapproving. So
Okay,
it's
so-
better that we don't talk about it. You're an adult woman. You should only talk to people, including your dad. You should only include in your thought processes people who are supportive of what you want to do. And that includes your dad.
But I thought that parents are supposed to be supportive irrespective.
Maybe of underage children, yes, but not to a 22-year-old woman.
What?
I would like to support you where I want to support you. And I would tell you where I don't want to support you.
So you're
but
saying
where I
more
do
like
support you.
practical support?
Like if Veer did the same, like Veer and I had a conversation about fake stuff the other day.
Oh yeah, we did.
And he was telling me about what's the difference between fake things and
'Cause-
there I would give a stronger opinion because he's still 13-year-old. And I want to shape his opinion with my experience. But not to you. You're a 22-year-old grown woman. You should find your own way in life, the way you see fit. And
But
should be able to tell you my honest opinion as an adult, as opposed to just as your dad.
yeah, but I think you can be honest about what you think without negating my thought process too. And
Why not? Because you're a grown woman, you can reject it.
And
Just
just so
like
you
you would
know,
a friend.
Mom, you do the same thing very often.
What are
'Cause
you talking about?
I see you nodding your head and like and agreeing with Didi, but the truth is you do like very
That is
similar stuff.
just literally what are you talking? Do I not support you guys? Whatever ideas you have.
You do, but a lot of the times, especially when I remember when Didi started her wax dash business, you negatively like displayed every possible like avenue about that company and completely like you didn't just give your opinion, you lashed your opinion onto her, which is
Okay,
exactly what you said.
just
Dad did.
hold on. Okay,
hold on,
let's
I don't
use.
know if I don't know.
My
if I,
point to finish that thought is that with ownership of ideas and thoughts comes responsibility. And so long as you take responsibility for those ideas, as much as you take excitement or belief in those ideas, it does not matter what your dad or anybody else says or doesn't say about it. What matters is what you think about it,
Dad, I agree with that, but you're still missing my point. Like
which is
my point is that like since you are my parent, you play a
Mhm.
fundamentally different role than other adults in the world, right? And you are somebody I am supposed to look to be like, okay, this guy will give me tactical advice even if he disagrees with my approach, and either way he will support me in what I'm doing. I feel like you are giving me tactical advice and slash disagree with my methods of doing things, and I don't feel supported by you. I feel like when I talk to you, you just sound really disappointed. And
I
so,
mean, I think that disappointed is a strong word, right? I don't see how I don't, if I
what's the
come,
difference? What's the difference between disapproval and disappointment?
oh, disapproval is just disagreeing from one adult to another adult. Just like I also thought Amazon was a bad idea in 2001. I also thought that, Spotify will not work. I
Yeah, but
also thought,
Shalab, you know that like you know that you had all these experiences, right? The kids are like thinking that you're giving an opinion based in some sort of fact, and I think this idea that you're an adult now, the kids, you're their dad. It's not like, oh, his
meaning I
opinion is
would like,
different based on my age.
I'm saying that the relationship should transcend to one that of between as much as two adults as a father and a daughter. I have feelings. I'm like a just a regular guy who has strengths, weaknesses like any other guy. And you as a grown woman should be able to see that, is my point.
Yeah, but you have drawn a line in the sand that, like, oh, at 21, you're a grown woman. It's not how it works. Like, people evolve. Like, it's like, why can't you give her the same advice that you would give Veer? What's the difference to you how old she is?
Yeah, that's
Veer,
a
I'm
great
trying to
question.
influence. I'm trying to shape his ideas into what I think he can benefit from
So,
from
but why does that change with how old he is or isn't? Like, I don't
because he's
understand.
not yet formed in his views, his opinions, his way of thinking. He's in the formative years of his life at 13.
I'm not understanding
I
this.
mean, I'm not sure if you're not understanding it, that's fine, but that's how I feel.
What do you-
But you can't win with the kids because I'm always giving them my opinions, and now I'm the bad guy in this episode.
How is you the bad guy? I thought I'm
That
coming
did you
across
not
as the
hear
bad
them?
guy.
They're like, we can't talk to you.
Surya
And
just said that I'm disapproving of her. That's me coming across as a bad guy.
no, but I will tell you that if you guys are engaging in behavior that I think can get you into huge liabilities, do you actually, I'll ask you now, do you want me to point that out to you and caution you, or just be like, you know what, this could land somebody in jail or bankrupt them, but that's fine. Let them find out the hard way.
Should I just tell the story? I can tell the story. It's fine.
Yeah.
Basically, when I obviously my mom and I have worked together for a really long time in a very undefined way, right? Like in high school, I was helping her with a bunch of random stuff. Bridge and Veer also helped her with a bunch of random stuff. And then when I came to Stanford, I realized that I really wanted to be somebody who worked for themselves and built their own business. I was really inspired by mom. So I started a business that was like digital Zoom comedy shows that did very well, actually. It was like connecting comedians with like corporations. It was called Comedy Wires. I ran it for like 6 months. We made a couple $1,000s and worked with great businesses, but it was boring for me. Like I was really just like, it was hard for me to see any way for it to like extend and grow. Then the second business I started was a in-home waxing service. Like, I'm very curious if any of our podcast viewers have noticed this, but outside of cities, like metropolitan cities, it is a huge pain to get these services done. And for women, it's like a professional thing to like have their
Okay, but why was it an issue? Why was
Okay,
I trying
so-
to caution you?
well, the
Tell
reason-
people that.
the reason why I'm scaffolding it, because you make it sound like it was the worst thing that ever happened, but basically, like, I had hired these estheticians, who are professional estheticians, to come
Can you explain what
in.
an esthetician is?
Yeah, an esthetician is a beautician, like somebody who can like do facials and remove hair, who's like professionally certified. All of them had a license. The person was providing like hair removal services, and mom saw it, and she's right, it was a liability, right? Because when you have a professional salon, there's all sorts of certifications that you have to go through and stuff like that. It was a liability because what if something had gone wrong, and like I maybe would have gotten in trouble for that. Now, what I will say is that I did shut down the business and did it very appropriately, but I really believed in the merits of this idea at the time. Like, I was very passionate about it, and mom was very cautious about it. And in retrospect, I'm glad she was cautious about it, because I do think there was a chance I could have gotten in trouble, and I'm glad that that chance was not taken.
The funny thing is, I thought it was a good idea, as usual. But that's not the point. I'm just saying that to have tried something like that in your freshman year, I'm sure the experience was invaluable. You must have
But
learned.
Shala, the experience has to be balanced with what risk are you taking. Like, I know Bridge likes to talk about how, don't always see the negatives, but okay, just so you understand, one bad risk decision can affect your whole life. And you're talking to somebody who's actually
And no one's
licensed.
disagreeing with that. But
I agree with you that I'm extremely risk averse. I'll give you that. I'm extremely risk averse. But like, for example, in the case of this vaccine thing, the estheticians, the licensing, that whatever they call themselves, if they make a mistake, the risk would have been on Zoya.
Yes, and I understand that. But me making that point was more about why it can be so difficult to talk to somebody who is like that. It is a lot harder to talk to somebody when every single time you tell them anything, it's always, oh my god, you're so dumb, you should have done this, you're not considering this.
Hold on. Rewind
She
for a
would never
second.
call you dumb.
I have never used the word dumb.
But that's how
Ever.
it comes across. That's how the emotion comes across when you say,
But that
you
is
didn't
not.
consider this, you didn't consider
Listen,
this, you didn't consider this.
I'm trying to explain to you what are the risks you're taking. You still want to take the risk,
And
take the
I
risk.
understand that, and I'm not disagreeing with that.
I
think
would never use the
point
word
I'm
dumb.
trying to make is that it's difficult to speak to somebody like that. Do you understand that? That's the point. It has nothing to do with.
By the
like,
way,
whether you're
before
correct
your
or
mother's
incorrect.
current successful entrepreneurial career, she has tried many failing businesses too.
Yes. And I'm all for entrepreneurship, but I fully acknowledge, like, everything I tried was there was like a risk, a metric that I had to assess. Like, am I willing to take this risk and risk my family, you guys, your futures? So listen, if you said to me right now on this podcast right now, Mom, we will take the risk we want to take, and we will fall or walk on our own merit, I will accept it. I'm
But
telling you.
this isn't the point, though. You're taking this way off the right path.
And
Like, you're completely branching. This has
But
nothing to do
Bridge,
with
you
the
can't
fact-
have both. That's the thing. You
just
can't.
wanna-
Yeah.
I think the one problem with being a kid and trying to express your ideas to your parents is that when you're a kid, you are naive, and naivete is really important. Like, it's so important to be naive to a certain extent in order to like imagine grand, cool ideas for yourself. And while it's really amazing that you are so cautious, I think exactly what Bridge said, the emotion behind your caution, it made me feel like you didn't believe that I could be successful at building my own business or something. Even though I know that's not true, but that's how it made me feel.
And ultimately, the topic of this episode is about communication, right?
So I'm asking you now, what is better? To hear it from me, my honest thoughts and your dad's honest thoughts? Or is it better if we just stand by and watch and just see how it plays out, good or bad? Like, what is better?
Obviously, hear your honest thoughts, but it doesn't have to be. You're making it very black and white when it doesn't have to be that black and white at all. one, when it relates to something that might not be necessarily that crazy, you just don't have to give it like a negative opinion on it. It's just not that hard to like view the positives. Maybe you can say, oh, make sure you consider this. Use different language instead of saying, oh, you have to worry about this. I feel like a lot of the rhetoric you use in every situation possible. The whole semester, you were basically like, Bridge, every single intersection I was at, you basically told me this isn't gonna work. This isn't gonna work. This isn't gonna work. It was never.
What are you guys talking? Like, I don't understand it. If I didn't know us, you would think that I don't give you guys confidence in doing anything. I don't
Hold on.
understand it.
Mom, you gotta okay, I promise you, like, Bridge is not trying to bash you. He's really not. Neither of us are trying to bash you. And I think it's actually a compliment that Bridge is trying to like work with you here so that we can actually improve in the future, because I do think he is grounding in on something that's really important. Like, basically, you are in this vertical and in many other verticals much smarter than me and Bridge. Now, the problem is that because you have so much wisdom, like when Bridge and I are like stumbling and falling and coming up with our ideas and aren't as smart as you, it's hard for you to let us make some version of mistake. Now, you were right, if we're taking risk, that the mistake needs to be calculated with the risk.
But that's what I'm confused about. I hear what you're saying, but when Bridge said I'm starting this social media company with his friend, I actually posted. Not only did I say yes, you should do it, I posted. I tried to help him get clients. I was telling everybody
Yes,
about
I'm not.
So
denying-
it's not this idea that I'm not willing to let you guys stumble and fall. Like I know more than anybody else the value of stumbling and falling.
I think that you're taking what I'm saying like down the complete opposite direction of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my fault. I need to clarify a little bit of how I'm saying this. But what I'm saying is that strictly from a communication standpoint, it is difficult sometimes to communicate with you because you can be very pessimistic. Me and definitely Didi are such large believers in life that we always want to be chasing after the sun, and sometimes you're like, you have to stay on the ground. And I know you support us no matter what, and you did support me, and you've supported her many times, but just sometimes when we communicate, it's not that it doesn't feel like you're supporting us, it just feels like such a serious, difficult conversation, when sometimes I just want it to be a light, oh my god, this is such a, like, let's keep moving, like, good job, like, whatever.
I feel like I am actually a little bit on the other side, because I feel like I would tell you anything, because I kind of like the fact that, I like the fact that you give me real advice so I know when something's wrong and something's right. And I think that that's very valuable in a person versus what they're saying where it can be difficult.
Maybe also Bridge and I, to just play even more devil's advocate, like on behalf of your side, Mom, like maybe we're just intimidated to share ideas with you, who's like this behemoth businesswoman now, because it's kind of like sharing an idea to like a new age Kevin Hart. Do you know what I mean? It's like this person has succeeded. No, just listen to me for a second. This person has succeeded at such a high level of success now. Like, any idea that I present to them, I need to be on my A game. Like, any idea that Bridge and I have presented to you, we've had business plans for, we've had we've had people that we've hired, we've had like reasons and thesis and all this stuff. And I almost wonder, like, throughout this conversation, like, I almost wonder if it's just that we're also a little intimidated.
I feel like I can't win. Like, if I don't succeed, I have nothing to offer.
It's a compliment.
Yeah.
But I will tell you the other side of it. I feel like I can talk to you guys about whatever I want or whatever is on my mind. And maybe it is because you guys are that open-minded or whatever, but I don't feel any hesitation in telling you guys what's on my mind. And
Aw.
and I do appreciate that, because I have mom friends who are like, how can you ask your kid that? And
They're
I'm like,
scared to talk to
but
their kids.
why would I not ask? Like, I only want the best for you guys. We're all on the same team here.
Just to be
That's-
clear, me and Didi definitely both are very, very in agreement with that we can share anything on our, or at least I am. I believe Didi is too, because how
Yeah.
often you guys speak. But I'm definitely also like, I would be willing to tell you everything. But what I'm saying is, like, when I do tell you something, now I'm like, before I even talk to you, I might prepare something, maybe great flashcards or something, so that I can like defend myself in my stance of telling you something.
Every individual unit that succeeds in this group succeeds for all 5 of us. That's how I see it.
Well, I was just gonna say also, like, that's the thing about communication, and that's what makes this topic so interesting, is communication isn't about what you actually want. Like, communication is about how you're presenting what you want. So, like, even though we know what you want, sometimes the language, especially between different generations, can like prohibit us from understanding that we're on the same page. One thing communication wise that I think is really special about you and dad is like you've never hid any financial worries, constraints, fears. You've always been like, within 5 seconds, we all know what's going on.
I feel like we're all building this family and life together. And for that, everybody should know the good and the bad. I mean, when something good happens, I'm the first to share it too. Anyway, this has been our episode of intergenerational communications, the things we are able to say to each other or not. And as we end every episode with a round of good grades with Garg, so we are going to end this episode also, where each Garg assigns another Garg for a winning moment of the podcast, the most entertaining, enlightening, whatever the highlight of the podcast is in their mind. So, who wants to go first with good grades
I go
with
first.
Garg? Okay.
I'm gonna give my A grade to Didi because I think your emotional intelligence really came out in this episode, and I feel like you did a very good job of mediating the episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or I'm not sure about that, but okay, I'll accept it.
I'll give my A grade to Bridge. I thought it was tough things to express everything he expressed to his mother. He did a pretty bang up job and stood his ground and explained his points really well.
Why is everybody standing their ground against me as if I'm a villain? But okay. All right.
I think I'll give my A grade to Mom. I think one thing that I really appreciated was we did throw a lot at you. And I actually think me and Bridge could have done even a better job of communicating some of the stuff we were talking about. At the same time, you were very like open-minded, especially toward the end of the conversation about our criticisms of like conversations we've had in the past. So I thought that was really cool.
Okay, finally somebody gives me an A grade.
Oh my God.
Bridge, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm gonna give my A grade to Veer because when both me and Didi were communicating against, or not against, but communicating with Mom in a disagreement, Veer took your side, which is very, taboo for someone to take the parent side instead of the sibling side. So
Good job. And that leads me to my A grade
Oh.
without question today
this
goes
is
to
no
Veer.
bias.
This goes to Veer because he finally stood up for the truth. He finally stood up for hashtag stand with mom, which is how it should have been all along, where everybody was ganging up against me for no good reason in this episode. And I can't wait to hear what every listener and viewer has to say about our podcasting episode. Who do you side with? Like, are you able to talk to your parents, listeners and viewers? Are you able to talk to your kids? What are the holdups? What are the hangups? We want to hear it all. And who do you give your A grade to? Hint, hint, it might be somebody whose name starts with a Z but is followed with an A, not an O. Shh, hint. I can't wait to hear what you guys all think. And thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Zarna Garg Family Podcast. Can't wait to see you again. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye.